What was before Blockbuster?
There was just random mom and pop video stores. There was no like overarching chain. They were all like independently owned.
Wow.
I just blew your mind.
So I married a millennial. Now I'm watching all the things he knows. So I married a millennial. I married a millennial.
Welcome back to So I Married a Millennial. My name is Jeremy Levy, and this is my lovely wife,
Lauren Levy.
And we are both millennials on opposite sides of the spectrum. And I'm now making Lauren watch all of the classics from my childhood that she missed. Hilarity ensues?
Question mark?
Question mark. Today, we are watching the 1985 classic Teen Wolf. One of my favorites.
One of your favorites. I'd heard a lot of talk about this one.
Here is the Rotten Tomatoes synopsis of Teen Wolf. When high school nerd Scott Howard, Michael J. Fox, learns from his father, Harold James Hampton, that being a werewolf runs in the family, he decides to take advantage of his freakish trait. With his newfound strength and agility, Scott quickly becomes the hero of his school's basketball team while winning over longtime crush Pamela Wells. As he grows more popular, Scott worries he's being celebrated as a novelty rather than for who he is. 46% critics score, 52% audience score. So gained some points there.
I feel like this is one, when we were talking about doing this podcast, like this was one of the movies that immediately, because you love it so much, like this was like one of the ones that you were like, oh, that's a must do. You were like horrified that I had not seen this one.
I watched this when I was actually maybe like 6 years old. I definitely remember watching this when we were still living. Yeah,
Mom and Dad.
I think we watched. I think we watched like an edited TV version of it though, because a lot of the stuff that I saw later in life, I was like, oh, I don't remember that part.
Oh,
but I could be wrong because I also kind of remember renting it on video, so I don't.
At the Blockbuster.
Oh, baby, Blockbuster didn't exist.
What was before Blockbuster?
There was just random mom and pop video stores. There was no like overarching chain. They were all like independently owned.
Wow.
I just blew your mind.
You kind of did.
I know. Why don't you talk to us about your initial thoughts on Teen Wolf?
All right, so we got this teen.
Good start.
He's a wolf.
Why for one of shot?
And no, high school kid trying to fit in on like maybe the worst basketball team I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
They are not doing well.
No.
And we're giving some allusions to like something is up, but we're like, is it puberty? Is it?
I mean, it is Michael J. Fox. He has that super squeaky voice. So
yeah,
like, maybe it is.
Maybe
puberty.
it is. I don't know. He's going through changes.
Even though he was 23 at the time.
Funny. He's going through changes. We don't really know. And then it is revealed that the little hint things we've been hinting at is that he's a werewolf. Whoa, surprise, shock.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to navigate school, and everyone's really into the wolf, but not into him. He wasn't very popular before, and then he gets this new surge of popularity, and sort of, as all the 80s movies do, hilarity and heartfeltness ensues, and he tries to navigate his new life.
I buy all of that.
Thanks.
I saw that.
Thanks.
I saw all of that in this. It was
a real broad stroke.
It was a real broad stroke. I will say, of the movies that we have watched so far, this feels most like a movie, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't. I feel like it takes itself more seriously.
Yes, less of a weird fever dream. There was like actual plot points and storyline.
Yeah, and it has like these weird kind of intimate moments between him and his dad, and and him and his best friend come girlfriend, whose name is Boof.
May I just say before we get into it, justice for Boof.
Justice for Boof. He is awful.
Horrible to her.
Yeah.
Justice for Boof. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Like this definitely this was a movie. This
it was a movie.
Let me tell you something. If I can say anything, this one was a movie. I
will say, as soon as we turned it on, and and the opening credits started happening, and there's this all of the music, all of the sound effects, all of the sound design of this is so weird.
It's really weird.
Like really, really weird. But they're just showing the opening credits, and all I hear is from you, and you just say, "Why does this look so weird?"
The opening credits of this movie are so fucking janky. Like, unbelievably janky. It's like just the fucking Arial font. That's it for this huge movie. Like, Mannequin over here has a full animated fun sequence. Weird Science has its own song, and then we're over here with the Arial font for the best of those. And that was all we had.
It's kind of a bunch of movies at once, because it's clearly it's a comedy, it's a coming of age comedy, but it also kind of has horror elements to it. And
so they said, let's give away nothing in the opening. Let's make it look like something I could make on PowerPoint as a middle schooler.
Yeah. And maybe this is my inner child remembering this, the nostalgia. But it opens very unsettling. Like, it's just like that weird sound effects, and it's him like dribbling the ball, and it's like the close up on his face, and everything is like very dramatic. And it sets a very tense scene
after
for a
you
coming
get
of age
through
comedy.
after you get through the black and white Arial font, which gives us nothing.
Yes.
And then we try to build suspense.
But yeah, the tone is kind of all over the place.
Definitely.
Sometimes, which I respect. I have a note here: 30-year-olds in high school.
Absolutely. I said, why is the one teammate so old? And then I said, why is the other teammate also so old? Scratch that. Why are they all so old?
They're all very, very... I mean, so Michael J. Fox was 23, but he
reads young, either way.
Yeah.
He's
reads, also 5'4" or something. Like,
respect for 5'4".
You and him could play basketball together.
We'd probably be just about as good as they were in this movie. They were horrible.
He apparently was very bad at basketball.
Well, boy, was he in luck then, because
I read one of the behind the scenes thing is that all of the basketball stuff was meticulously planned out, and Michael J. Fox was like, "Can we just maybe try playing and then you get shots?" And he said that lasted not very. That was over in a pitch.
He looks so unbelievably young, and then this is not even if we're going from Weird Science, where I was like, yeah, actually pimply faced teenagers, these people are in their 40s. These people are not even like in their 30s. Like, these people are older than us.
Yeah.
Like, I know that there's like people looked older in the 80s and things, like talking about Seinfeld, any of that, but like these teammates look so old. They cannot be in high school.
So
they cannot. I refuse to believe.
One of his teammates, which is not only is he old, but they refer to him as Chubbs. His name is Chubby.
Oh yeah.
Because he is chubby. Is basically that's his whole character. His whole character is that he's this fat 40-something-year-old
like,
dude on a high school basketball team.
The math does not math.
And then there's the villain, Mick.
Which also, a general note about Mick. So Mick goes to the other school.
Right.
Mick is at their school a lot for not going there. I know he's dating Pamela, but that boy, like, I understand they needed him to be on another team. They can't have been playing together.
Right.
But, like, I think Mick is probably there more than some of the other 40-year-old classmates. Like, Mick is at that school.
He appears to be there all of the time. Also, like, I just can't picture him in his own high school, because he should be in high school because he's clearly in his 40s. Makes absolutely no sense to me. I also have a note here. All of these basketball teams, there is one black guy.
Yep, 100%.
Just one black guy on the basketball
And they are
teams.
very weird to him.
They are very weird to him. Styles is very weird to him. So we have Scott's best friend, Styles, who is the quintessential 80s comic relief sidekick. And I gotta tell you, much like I loved Hollywood Montrose, maybe I have a soft spot for these
for the eccentric besties.
For the eccentric besties.
Do you feel seen?
You know what? I do kind of feel seen.
Do you feel seen?
I feel seen. I love Styles. Like, he's so annoying, and he's so over the top, and I can't believe anyone gives him the time of day. But he, like, I feel like he helped create this archetype because he fits in so neatly into this persona of the annoying best friend.
Boy, does he ever. But
Uh,
he's also kind of like weirdly beloved in a way that I feel like I'm like, oh no, like this kid would not.
I don't.
Everyone would be making fun of this kid, but everyone's like, yeah, it's Styles.
I
Like,
don't understand where he fits in
I
the
don't-
high school hierarchy.
he's an enigma. You know what? We're just gonna let Styles be Styles, I guess, because
We love Styles. Let Styles be Styles.
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm gonna say from here on out. Baby, let Styles be Styles.
Understandable.
Also, we're gonna name our first kid Styles. Think about it. Think about it.
No non-existent children will be named Styles.
All-
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So all of the other teachers are these very eccentric characters.
Mhm.
There is the basketball coach.
Who the
Bobby
basketball coach
Finstock.
was very funny.
The guy who plays Scott Howard's father was initially supposed to be the basketball coach.
Oh, okay.
And then for some reason he then became, and the guy who played the basketball coach is actually rarely an actor. He's more of a writer.
Interesting.
So droll, so funny. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't care that
he does
the team
not want to be
sucks.
there.
All of his lines, all of his stories, all of his monologues are just
the
incredible.
least helpful, just not helpful for basketball, not helpful for their personal issues. That man is just not helpful.
And he has one of the greatest lines, I think, in cinematic history. He's giving advice to Scott Howard, and he goes, let me tell you what I learned in this life. 3 things. 1, never get involved with a woman who has a tattoo of a dagger on her body. Never get less than 12 hours sleep. And never play poker with someone who has the same first name as a city. He said, you stick to those 3 things. Everything else is cream cheese. What a great line.
What a great line.
He's very not helpful.
I wonder if he ad-libbed that. I don't know. Those are ridiculous things.
That is incredible. And
Those
then
are ridiculous.
The drama teacher coach, also incredible.
At
He's
least the
very-
basketball coach is like a fun weirdo. The drama teacher is giving me scary weirdo. He is too invested in Pamela. He
Well,
is a weirdo.
So let's talk a bit about Pamela Wells. So Scott has a crush on Pamela Wells. She is like
I don't know why.
she's the quintessential like popular mean girl at the school. She's dating Mick, the 40-year-old dude who goes to their school but doesn't go to their school but doesn't go to any school. And she is so mean to him, but also he deserves it because he's also mean to his best friend Boof. So it's a real like sort of pecking order of meanness. But she is like, you know, the object of his desires, and he is like, you know, he's going after her, and she is the thing that's supposed to unlock him learning about himself and the things that he doesn't want to go do. So she is in the school play. She's like, that's her thing. She's like the lead actor. And this play that they're doing at the school.
Is this an original work? What is this play that they are doing?
It's a Civil War
yes,
play?
but like,
And she's playing like a Southern belle on a plantation
Yeah.
with this awful Southern
Awful.
accent talking about you can ravage my body, but please don't
burn down my plantation. Like, how is that approved for the school play?
It is such a strange choice. And then you
But
have...
that's like all we see about it. We're just like, okay, there's a
We only
plan.
see the one scene.
Yeah, well, and then even when they do it, yes, and when they do it in real time, it's the same scene. I'm like, this play got anything else? No? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Scott and his buddy Styles and their other sort of younger friend whose name I don't remember.
And also, where did he go? They were just like, he's mad at you. And then he like never came back.
Because he was scared of him, because he became a werewolf.
But,
he represented
just
his
disappeared.
moral center.
He just disappeared.
He was the most important character in the movie.
He just pieced
I'm
the
sorry
fuck
that
out.
was lost on
He
you.
pieced the fuck out.
It
And
did.
he was just like, he doesn't want to see you. And like, that was it. We were just like, okay.
Yeah.
But I wanted there to be like some sort of conversation with
Yeah.
them, like coming back together. Like, not that Scott needed to like apologize,
Right.
but like some sort of like, hey man, like I'm sorry. Like there was no resolution there.
I
We
feel like
got
that was
no
sort of wrapped up
resolution.
in the Boof, his best friend.
I guess, but
I think that was the sort of same general idea.
I feel like we had a group of them, and then one of them was just like, no, I'm out forever, homie.
Yeah.
It was a little weird.
It's understandable.
Speaking though of Styles
Yeah.
and their friendship, I need you to tell me, what is up with the car surfing? Is that specific to this movie? Please tell me people did not do that. Did they invent this for this movie? I know your lame ass wasn't doing anything like that.
You know what? You would be surprised.
I would.
Mom and Dad, please turn off the episode at this time. We were doing some pretty dumb shit when I was in high school.
Was car surfing a thing?
Babe, Senator, I do not recall.
I just genuinely was like, I don't know. I wrote like, is this a conceit for the movie where they just like thought that would be funny and cool, or was this? I mean, like subway surfing is a thing.
I am not aware of this being a
cultural
larger
80s phenomenon.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. You could say yes or no right now, and I'd believe you. So,
but Styles does surf on the top of this van on their way to this high school party, which Scott then later does it later. These waves are mine.
But they're just standing on top of a van.
I mean, don't knock it till you've tried it. Also, don't try it.
I'm at peace.
So they go to this high school party.
And we have not discussed this because we try not to until we're here. But I said, now what are these games at this party?
Mm-hmm.
Again, are these games that people were playing in the 80s? Let's be clear, you and I, not cool enough growing up.
I didn't go to any parties.
So, like, I don't know.
Any parties.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then by the time we got to me, like, those wouldn't have been the games, but I still wasn't going either way. We weren't cool enough.
Right.
But, like, they're, like, wrestling in shaving cream. Like, the only one that I actually recognized was, like, you know, the 7 Minutes in Heaven. Like, that one, I'm like, okay, that's universally acknowledged. What was happening? We had, like, they were the shaving cream wrestling.
So Styles was this weird sort of MC character.
But then in addition to Styles, there was Miss Rando Girl who was just, like, in her underwear in fishnets and, like, a little, like,
his
assistant.
Vanna White assistant,
yes. But, like, why was she in her underwear? Why was everyone else dressed completely normal, and then this diva truly came in fishnets and a top hat?
Showmanship, babe.
You know,
showmanship.
Where did she come from? Where did she go? Where did she come from?
she brought it.
I had so many questions. And why was Styles, like, running the games with this rando girl at this rando house party?
Styles. What did we say about Styles, babe?
You're right. Styles going style.
Styles is going style.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to know about that. So one of these games, there was a guy and a girl in their underwear, bound together backwards, covered in shaving cream, wriggling around.
Yes.
I assume they were trying to untie themselves. We never actually see them get untied.
No, nor do we explain. We just cut, and there's like two people on the ground, like, wiggling back and forth in their underwear with shaving cream.
Yes, that is very weird. At one point, he calls upon Chubbs and this other girl, Styles, and he says he has this big bowl of green Jell-O, and he goes, Chubbs, you've got to eat all of this Jell-O. And Chubbs, of course, is like, say less, fam. And then this girl says, and what do I do? And Styles says, hold the Jell-O, and then pours it down her shirt.
What are these games? What are these games?
People were having fun. There was no internet. There was no internet. There was no
internet, but still, where did we come up with these games?
People really needed to make their own fun, babe.
I feel like we can't do spin the bottle, like, you know.
They did 7
minutes
in heaven.
They did 7 Minutes in Heaven. But what these other games, I'm like, what in God's green earth is happening?
So Scott, it's his turn, I guess. They're like pulling names out of a hat to see who goes next in these games. For all these games, they're pulling names out of a hat. So he pulls Boof's name, and they go into she lies and says that, you know, she got Scott because she has a crush on him. And they go in there, and she gets very, she has a great line too. He says, I feel sort of weird. And she says, how do I feel? And I was like, damn, Boof.
Boof had moves.
Boof had
moves. And then he mauls her.
And then he
mauls her.
So this is when the wolf is starting to come out before he knows that he is a teen wolf. We've shockingly have not talked much about his being a wolf so far.
Well, I was very confused about the games and the subway surfing. Not subway, the car surfing.
So he's starting to
have logistical questions.
Figure out that he is becoming a wolf. And the wolf starts to take over, and he mauls her. She walks out, and there's like blood. Yeah, like down her back.
It's not a small injury.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, it was like, you don't think someone at that party is like, oh my God, you look like you just got attacked by a lion? Like, no one notices that?
But also, she slapped him.
Yeah.
She was like,
She was
hey,
like, ow,
not so
too much
rough.
nail.
But then, as she's walking out, she kind of looks over her shoulder
You're
like,
like,
okay, daddy.
No.
Babe, that is the look that she gives.
You know what? You're not wrong, but I wish that you were.
So I'll tell you now, boof is a slang term for anal sex.
Was this in the olden days?
I think so, yes.
Why would they call her that then?
So apparently, one of the writers based it on a girl he grew up with, and that's what they called her.
That's so mean.
He had like a girlfriend named Boof, and he's just like, he based Boof on Boof. A lot of Boof on Boof action.
Not Boof on Boof.
So we move on from the party, and then we get the piece de resistance.
Yes.
We get the transformation scene. He
Mhm.
goes home, and the wolf starts to take over, and we have this transformation scene.
I love a transformation scene. I feel the
I
same.
loved it.
I feel the same way about like a mall montage or like a getting ready montage. I love it. I love any of that. I thought it was well done. I thought it was well done given the time and the technology. I was like, I feel like this is actually pretty solid.
I agree. And yeah, and like honestly, this old man get off my lawn and maybe pine for a pre-CGI time.
You are always pining for a pre-CGI.
I love a practical effect.
I
They feel
do
tangible,
too.
they
I
feel
do too.
real. I buy a practical effect more than CGI.
I do too.
And again, this is like when it sort of walks the line of being a horror movie. It's scary. It is frightening, especially from a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah, you watching this at 6.
A
Maybe that's why you
6
shouldn't have been watching it at 6.
Maybe,
But
yeah.
what are you gonna say? So I think the transformation is great. I think it's a super fun scene. But then my favorite is also, which I did not see coming.
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't know if other people are gonna be like, well, of course that's what. I didn't see this little button where his dad is like, let me in. He doesn't want to. You open the door. The dad is also a werewolf. Fabulous. It's a fabulous little moment.
It's a great reveal.
Maybe my favorite moment, honestly, in the whole movie.
I have a piece here that in trivia. According to Rod Daniel, the director, when test audiences first saw Scott's dad as a werewolf, they, quote, went insane.
Mm-hmm.
He said the laughter was so loud, it obliterated the next minute of the film.
He did look quite silly, though. The way that his, like, white... He kind of looked like a little bit like a werewolf monkey mix. He looked a little goofy, but I was here for it as a moment.
I don't understand why his wolf hair was
white,
well kempt.
Yes, he was.
His was like sort of brushed and it was like
he looked a little bit like a cute little like capuchin monkey or something.
He did look a bit like a monkey. So I don't know. I guess when you've been a werewolf that long, you know how to grow.
You have your grooming routine down.
Yeah.
Like
I guess you know
he had
how
been to the salon. It's a really great moment.
And I will say this: James Hampton, who plays the father.
Yeah.
Love him. Love that performance.
He's
love
great.
that relationship. And I think that
very supportive, very
yeah.
When we're coming also from like a weird science with like the weird like I can't hug my father.
Right.
Like this was a very refreshing, like good parental relationship, except not with the mom. Rip.
I feel like he is part of the reason this feels like a real movie to me.
Yes.
Because he grounds it.
100%.
In
their dynamic, like father-son dynamic really grounds it.
He apparently asked the director to help him develop his character. And the director's response was, he's a guy who makes a mean casserole. That was his characterization.
I love that. I do love also the next morning after the transformation. And they're like in true, I feel like male fashion. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, and like, but his dad is like very sweet and like trying to talk and wants to like talk him through it. And like, I feel like typical like preteen teenage boy. He's like, I don't want to. And just like, doesn't take his dad's information about the thing that's happening and just is kind of like
it was true to life.
It really was. It was like a really good like angsty teen moment. So then he goes and he tells him being a wolf ain't all that bad or whatever. Scott's like, I don't want to be a damn wolf. I don't want to be a pirate. I don't want to be a wolf, man. I enjoyed that. It was good.
Thank you. So he goes to school and he's playing basketball and things get hairy.
I am sort of unclear on when and why he turns into a wolf. He kind of talks about it. He's like, sometimes it's if I'm overwhelmed, or sometimes it just happens. So I'm a little unclear on the rules.
Strikes me as like the Incredible Hulk rules. If he gets like, if his blood pressure goes up or something like that, he can turn into the Hulk, I think.
Okay.
The Hulk. The wolf.
I
The wolf
followed.
Hulk.
The Wolf Hulk, sure.
And this is where the movie kind of really takes a turn.
Steep departure, just
because everything else feels
pivot.
kind of weirdly grounded. It just kind of feels like your regular run-of-the-mill sort of horror movie, sort of 80s coming of age. And then he becomes the wolf, and he becomes the most popular kid in school. And then it becomes this weird think piece, like this art, like this artistic about like, exploring celebrity and popularity. And it's just like, this guy just becomes, he's just a wolf. He's just like, and people,
everyone's just really into it.
Everyone buys it. Everyone's like, cool, he's a
there's
wolf.
like a moment of like when he transforms and then he's running around on the basketball court and he makes, I was going to say a goal, he makes a basket, whatever that is. And then he's like, woo! And then everyone is just like, you know what? Hell yeah!
I know,
like,
yeah.
There's like, it's like pretty tense. It's like pretty quiet. They're like, is everyone about to like freak out? And they're just like, you know what? Hell yeah. Like what?
I kind of love that about the movie because it doesn't like, it's not necessarily about that. And there are aspects of that, like his friend that we mentioned earlier was afraid of him and wouldn't accept him, and Mick, the 40-year-old, calls him a freak. So there are, like, he has his detractors.
Yeah.
So we do get a sense of that, but like mostly.
But then they're just like, you know what? Hell yeah, let's go.
That's cool.
And then we do, and then we're just going, and he's very popular, and he's getting the girl. Pamela's all of a sudden very into it. Flaky.
I have a note here. Because Pamela there is a racy scene with Pamela in her underpants when she invites Scott back to her dressing room after the play. And I have a note here. It just says, bestiality? She wants to fuck a wolf.
She does. She's into it.
She wants to fuck a wolf.
Because he's popular. But then
and
she doesn't.
Wolf?
And,
I mean, like.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't into him before.
She wants to fuck a wolf.
Yeah.
That is bestiality.
Pamela seems like she'll try anything once.
She fucked a wolf, babe.
She did.
She's a wolf fucker.
But then I love it. Michael J. Fox is like, oh, we're together now. And she's like, no, you're not my boyfriend. We're like, Pamela is a little problematic.
Yeah. None of that
Pamela's
really.
a little problematic.
None of that really makes sense.
Bad representation for theater girls everywhere.
He goes to the school dance by himself. He starts a thriller-esque dance.
Because then he wants to go with Boof, and then Boof is like, no, I want to go with you, not the wolf. And he's like, baby, I'm the wolf.
Boof is a real doormat.
Boof is a real doormat. Truly justice for Boof.
It's a doormat getting mauled.
He is so mean to Boof.
He is so mean to Boof.
She is so nice. She does not deserve it. Justice for Boof. That's my number one takeaway.
We are like sort of expected to believe that he's
Justice
just
for Boof with this horrible name too.
He's Justice for Boof for multiple
for like
reasons.
so many reasons.
We're meant to believe that like Scott's just like your average run-of-the-mill high school boy who is trying to figure it out, and he makes mistakes, but he is so awful
to Boof.
His dad is like, when they're going to the party, his dad is like, oh, is Boof going? And he's like, yeah, I don't know, I should get there, I don't know, whatever. And then like she's like, walk me home, and he's like, no, I just got home. Like, yeah,
and his dad's like, dude, like,
get out of here, Boof.
I'm like, ow.
Let's do some trivia.
I want to hear it. For the record, I don't look at the trivia before because I want to hear this information for the first time.
Let's do some trivia.
Tell me things.
The entire production took only 21 days.
It seems short for a feature.
That is extraordinarily
short for a feature.
Very, very short. I mean,
is it because they couldn't get Michael J. Fox to play that much basketball?
What?
They were like, we got to do this in one day. We'll just loop it.
I imagine, so the reason that he was able to do it, so he was on a sitcom called Family Ties, and he was on that show, and then the woman who played the mother on that show got pregnant in real life, so the show took a hiatus.
Oh, okay.
So he decided to do this in the meantime, like in between.
Okay.
Which I guess they only had him for like 21 days. They shot this whole thing, which
is a silly question. This is before Back to the Future, right?
That is not a silly question.
Okay.
That was my next note.
So in sync.
So they shot this before Back to the Future.
Okay.
And Michael J. Fox was super pissed. Michael J. Fox wasn't supposed to do Back to the Future. It was Eric Stoltz. He wasn't supposed to be involved.
Replaced, yeah.
But Michael J. Fox, it said, disliked this film so much that he refused to return for the sequel. In an interview at the same time, while Back to the Future was in production, he lamented, Steven Spielberg's down the street making great movies, and I'm playing a werewolf.
Oh.
So he was
really,
not
but
yet.
he really hadn't done, like, he had just been, I guess, on this.
He done a bunch of movies,
sitcom.
and he was like, that sitcom was like a pretty big
okay.
show.
Because I think of him as Back to the Future, because that was really like the only thing I knew. But I guess he was more established before that.
So here's what's really funny. They knew that Back to the Future was going to be a bigger movie than this.
Well, yeah.
So the producers of Teen Wolf delayed this movie from its original spring 1985 release date because of Back to the Future, which would go on to become a blockbuster at Universal, as Paramount and the production company Atlantic Releasing Corporation wanted to capitalize on Michael J. Fox's newfound stardom. So the film would go on to be a surprise hit.
Oh.
So they shot this first, and then he shot Back to the Future, and they're like, oh, wait, that movie looks like it's going to be pretty good. So they sat on this movie until after Back to the Future came out, so they could be like...
Well, and he already thought it was kind of silly, and then they were like, from the guy from Back to the Future. Oh.
And in some countries, I'll find this factoid, but in some countries, they were trying so hard. They literally, basically, in other languages, referred to this movie as the kid from Back to the Future. That was like basically the name of the movie. It was like El Gringo from Back to the Future or something like that. So at the very end, spoiler alerts, like he doesn't want to be the wolf anymore, and somehow the basketball team is good because they decide to be good and they win the championship.
Like, they were awful before, and then none of them played all season, and then now magically they're incredible.
Yeah.
Suspending our disbelief, but okay.
It is the power of love, I think. I don't know. I have no idea.
Self-love.
That's the Back to the Future. So they win, and the crowd goes wild, and there is an extra in the back who clearly stands up. We come to find out that she is a girl, and her pants are just open. Her button is open, and her fly is down, and she stands up, and then immediately
realizes her fly is down
and tries to like do up her pants. However, the unmatted full frame version of the film reveals that the extra is actually a young woman. Apparently her pants were too tight, so she unbuttoned and unzipped them so she could sit down on the bleachers.
We've all been there, ladies. We really have.
She thought that filming had commenced, and when she stood up later, while the final scene was being filmed, she buttoned and re-zipped her pants. So that solves the mystery of that, babe.
It is crazy, though, because she is, like, so in the frame. Like, she is, like, right behind them hugging and kissing.
Her unbuttoned crotch is, like,
so
front and
prominent.
center.
So prominent. I do not know how nobody noticed that.
I mean, it's the kind of thing that you would probably CGI out these days, but...
Oh, absolutely. But I guess they were like, nah.
Didn't know the man.
And then they just, like, try to, like, pan up so we don't see any more of her. It was crazy.
Yeah.
That was really crazy.
Reception...
to the whole movie, or to just the woman in the pants?
I'm gonna go with the whole movie.
Okay, great. Okay.
The Hollywood Reporter stated, to his credit, director Rod Daniel has crafted an amiable teen film and gets a pleasing performance from Fox in the title role. Yet Teen Wolf, especially in the basketball sequences, loses its dramatic dribble. Get it? You get it, babe?
I do.
You get it. All right, what do you think of Teen Wolf?
I gotta tell you, again, this may be a low bar, but of Weird Science, Mannequin, and this is certainly my favorite movie of the three. I can understand why you enjoyed this one. It had some weird...
obsessed with this movie.
I know you were.
I thought I was a werewolf. My family
were.
still makes fun of me because I was like, I think I might be a werewolf. I was so into it.
Little theater kid.
I know, I had a very active imagination.
You're my pet monster.
I was like, maybe I'm a werewolf because he seems so cool. And I was 6 years old.
Well, fair enough. You were 6.
I thought it was very cool. So you can see why.
I can see why you like this one. I can see it's a bummer that Michael J. Fox didn't like this, because I thought that this was like, I do think some of it was it being the most grounded. Let's be clear, I like things that are absurd, but this was still like fun and had some heart, and it wasn't just like weird as all get out. There
Mhm.
was also, we had the older teammates, but there was not any weird older woman, younger boy dynamic in this one, which was a refreshing change of pace from our first two. But no, I thought it was really fun. I thought the sequences were really good. I liked that it was both coming of age and then through the lens of this like weird werewolf
Yeah.
sort of thing. I had a great time. This one is definitely this one gets a thumbs up for me.
Okay.
This one gets a thumbs up.
Clearly gets a thumbs up from me
Probably 2 for you.
as well. Yeah. Well, yeah. And yes, we love a werewolf.
We do. We love a werewolf.
We love a werewolf. Ow! Why would you do that?
Our dog's gonna freak out.
Our dog's gonna freak out. Okay, so that was Teen Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna tell you what we're doing next. I'm gonna surprise you. Bum bum bum.
I really don't know.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Do you know? Did you pick?
No, I haven't picked it yet. That's why I didn't do my homework, and I was trying to be like, yeah, I know. I know. I don't know. We'll figure it out though. It's gonna be good.
That's gonna be
It's
great.
gonna be really.